It was raining heavily. The cold drops hit my face like tiny slaps as I stood outside the police station. My fists were clenched, and my heart was pounding like a drum. I could barely breathe. Juno was gone. My service dog. My best friend and my lifeline. She wasn't taken by a random stranger or a thief in the night. No. She was taken by someone who was supposed to protect people. His name was Officer Daniel. He had this arrogant smirk and the kind of walk that screamed power. He didn't care. He ripped Juno away from me like she was nothing. I was so angry that my chest hurt, but underneath that anger was fear. I was so afraid because Juno wasn't just a dog. She helped me deal with my PTSD. She calmed me down when the flashbacks hit and kept me grounded when the world started spinning. Without her, everything felt dangerous, like the world had turned into a knife and I was bleeding. I am a black man. And I've learned that to some people, my pain doesn't count. I see it in their eyes before they say a word. They assume things, that I'm faking, that I'm looking for pity or a handout, that I'm dangerous, even when I'm begging. It had all started about 3 hours earlier. I was outside a restaurant. I'd tied Juno's leash to the bike rack like I always do. Her vest had a bright color of service dog written in big and clear letters. She sat patiently like the good girl that was, watching me through the restaurant window while I went inside to grab a cup of coffee. Then Officer Daniel showed up. He crouched next to Juno. When I saw his hand stay too long on her collar, my gut told me something was wrong. I ran outside, my coffee spilling everywhere. But it was already too late because he was unhooking her leash. When I got there, he smirked at me. "Hey, that's mine." "Nice mutt. Where'd you steal her?" "I didn't steal her, I have PTSD, and she is my service dog." "She's a mutt. You're a faker, wasting real help on made-up problems." "What is this? Another one of you people using the system? PTSD, huh? Please. I know a scam when I see one. You don't look broken, and I don't trust dogs after what one did to me. Bit me as a kid. Since then, I don't give them special treatment, especially not for people who already look suspicious." I froze for a second because I was shocked. Did I look like a thief? I didn't want to start a fight, so I told him politely that she was my service dog. I explained she was trained to help with my PTSD. I pulled out the tags and paperwork from my wallet, my hands shaking. I tried to stay calm, but my voice was cracking. He didn't care. His eyes were cold and looked lifeless. He looked at the papers for a second, then looked back at me and sneered. "Well, fancy papers don't mean anything. I know a scam when I see one. You don't look disabled. This dog's coming with me." I stepped forward to stop him, but his hand went straight to his gun. That stopped me immediately. Juno sensed the tension and gave a soft whine. I felt sad seeing her tail drop low, but Officer Daniel didn't care. He yanked her leash and started dragging her toward the car. I shouted and begged him not to take her. People started gathering around, whispering and watching, but no one helped. Juno's paws scraped along the wet pavement. She looked back at me with wide, scared eyes. Then the cruiser door slammed, and just like that, they were gone. That was over 3 hours ago. Now, I stood outside the police station, completely soaked. I pushed through the glass doors with so much force they shook in their frames. Inside, there was a woman who sat behind the front desk. She looked tired, like she'd seen too many nights like this. She didn't even look up right away.
"Hello, what's the problem?"
I stepped up and slammed both hands on the counter. "An officer here who goes by the name Daniel stole my service dog for no reason. Does that make sense? I tied my dog outside because the restaurant doesn't let dogs in, and he came from nowhere, stole my dog and accused me of being the thief." I didn't care how loud my voice was, or how few officers were now staring at me. I noticed how the desk sergeant looked at the corner of the room. When I turned, I saw Officer Daniel, standing there with his arms crossed, leaning against the wall like he had all the time in the world. He was smirking and enjoying every second of my pain.
"Calm down, sir. File a report. We'll look into it."
Nearby, I heard two officers laugh. "PTSD, please, that's just the new lazy excuse. I've seen guys like him fake trembles for attention. And the dog's probably trained to steal wallets. Useless mutts." I demanded to talk to Officer Daniel directly. A report? Just some paper for them to file away and forget? That wasn't going to bring Juno back. I didn't need paperwork. I needed my dog. I demanded to talk to Officer Daniel directly.
Well, you're not blind. He's right behind you. Go talk to him if you want and stop bothering me.
I was shocked at the tone she spoke to me with. Officer Daniel then walked over slowly, smirking like he was daring me to snap. You again? Told you, the dog's in holding. Suspicious circumstances. Might be evidence. Evidence? Of what? That I'm disabled? That I need help? I really tried to stay calm. I told him again that Juno is my service dog. She's trained and licensed. I explained everything, from my PTSD to her role in my daily life. Officer Daniel didn't care. He looked at me with a cruel smile and leaned in closer. You're a problem, man. Faking a condition, dragging a dog around to get sympathy and benefits. I'm helping the city by taking her. For a moment, I was shocked and confused. I felt like I might explode. My hands shook, not because I was scared, but because the anger in me was too big to hold in. I wanted to hit him, to be very honest. I wanted to break that smirk right off his face and make him feel even a fraction of what I felt. But then I thought about Juno and swallowed the rage. I turned back to the sergeant and begged her to do the right thing, but she looked away like she didn't hear me.
Officer Daniel's following procedure. The dog's in our kennel for now. Come back tomorrow.
They were so insensitive. They didn't even care to think if I could make it through the night without her. They didn't understand. When my PTSD flares up, it's brutal. Juno knows how to calm me and stop me from falling apart. Without her, I was a grenade with the pin pulled. I left the station, walking blindly through the rain. It poured harder, but I didn't even care. I couldn't see clearly because everything was gray, wet, and empty without Juno. My phone rang, and when I checked, it was Layla, my sister. She's a lawyer, and a very smart one at that. When I answered the call, I couldn't hide the pain in my voice. Layla noticed it.
Simon, what's going on? You sound awful.
I burst into tears and told her everything.
What? This is wrong. They can't get away with this. I'm coming over right now. We're getting Juno back, Simon. I promise.
Layla showed up about an hour later. Just having her there helped me feel less alone. Layla spread papers across the table. Juno's service dog papers, my medical records, and copies of laws that could help us.
That officer messed up. He had no warrant and no right to take your dog. We'll take him to court if we have to, but first we're getting Juno back tonight.
Her plan was for us to go back to the police station, demand they release Juno, and threaten legal action. If they refused, she'd call a reporter and expose everything. We went back to the station. Officer Daniel wasn't there, but the same desk sergeant was. Her face didn't hide her dislike when she saw us.
From the look on your face, I can tell you already know my brother. You have no reason to keep that dog. Let her go now, or I'll have a news crew outside in 20 minutes and a lawsuit filed by tomorrow.
The sergeant immediately paused. Before she could speak, Captain Reynolds, Officer Daniel's boss, interrupted her. That's enough. The dog is in the kennel. Officer Daniel's report says he suspected fraud. We're following procedure. Layla didn't even blink. She started listing legal facts. I just stood there, trying not to burst into tears. Every second without Juno made it harder to breathe. The captain looked at me, then back at Layla. He finally sighed. I'll look into the case. Come back in the morning. That's final. We had no other choice but to come back the next morning. Layla pulled me out and hugged me just as I burst into tears. I was so broken, and she could tell.
We're not finished, Simon. I know someone who can help us. That silly Officer Daniel is going to regret this.
That night, I couldn't sleep. I had a severe panic attack. The last time I had one like that was before I got Juno. I curled up on the floor, gasping for air. Luckily, Layla was with me. She did her best to help me calm down, but nothing could do it like Juno. By morning, I felt so empty, but I was more determined than ever. Layla's contact came through. At 8 a.m., a news van was parked in front of the police station. A reporter was asking Captain Reynolds tough questions while the camera rolled. Layla handed the reporter copies of my records and Juno's documents. She explained everything Officer Daniel had done. The reporter looked shocked. By the afternoon, it was all over the internet. The hashtag #Justice for Simon and Juno started trending. Strangers from all over were speaking out, demanding that Juno be freed. The pressure was building, but Officer Daniel still hadn't shown up. His absence felt like he was laughing at us from behind the curtains. Then we got some unexpected info from someone. Apparently, it was an officer at the station where Officer Daniel worked, who was sick of Officer Daniel's attitude and thought this is the right time to put him in his place. We met with him somewhere. Officer Daniel's not clean. He's done really stuff before. He didn't take your dog for evidence. He took her to hurt you. I heard him talking about it. He thinks you're weak. Your Juno's not in the kennel. He's keeping her at his house. My whole body froze. Juno was in that man's house. Martinez pushed a small paper across the table. It had an address. Be careful. Officer Daniel's unstable. He's also got people backing him, but I can't stay quiet anymore. We didn't wait. Layla and I drove straight to the address. It was a house on the edge of the city. My heart was pounding so hard I thought it might stop. The windows were dark. Then I heard a weak bark that I immediately recognized as Juno's. I didn't even think. I quickly climbed the fence and ran to the back. Layla shouted for me to wait, but I couldn't. The door was unlocked. Inside smelled like old food and dust. Juno's soft whine led me to the basement. I went down slowly and found her. She was caged, looking so dirty and scared. But I was glad that she was alive. I burst into tears as I tried to open the cage. Then I heard heavy footsteps upstairs and the sound of a door get slammed. You're trespassing, freak. Should have stayed gone. He was standing at the top of the stairs, pointing his gun at me. I nearly had a panic attack right there. But then Layla spoke. I saw her behind him, holding up her phone.
Put the gun down, Officer Daniel. This is live. The world's watching.
His expression turned sour immediately. He looked at the phone angrily and saw that he was truly getting recorded live. He lowered his gun. You're nothing. Both of you. I'll walk away from this. But he was wrong. People were furious. By that afternoon, Officer Daniel was suspended. They took his badge. Martinez came forward, and other officers followed. A full investigation started. Turns out Officer Daniel had been hurting people for years. Online, people from everywhere started sharing their stories. A woman posted how her diabetic alert dog saved her life twice. A boy with autism shared how his golden retriever helped him attend school. A vet wrote, "Without Max, I'd still be drinking. Now I'm 5 years sober." The comments flooded in. The justice for Simon and Juno wasn't just about us anymore. It was about every voice that had ever been silenced. I was finally with my Juno. I couldn't stop crying. Weeks later, the trial began. The evidence was very clear. More evidence even came up. Fraud, abuse of power, even assault. The jury didn't take long. They found him guilty on all counts. He was sentenced to 12 years in prison. He cried ugly when he heard how many years he got. He started begging me as they led him away, but I spat on him and told him to go to hell, because that's where he belonged. As for the desk sergeant, she was fired after Layla told them how she treated us. Months later, Officer Daniel was behind bars, but karma had a way of delivering justice where courts left off. He was assigned janitorial duty near a prison rehabilitation program, one that trained service dogs. Every day, he had to clean their kennels, pick up after them, and listen to inmates praise the dogs for helping them with trauma, addiction, and anger. One inmate said while brushing his retriever's fur, "This dog's got more soul in her paw than you had in your whole badge." To make it worse, his new cellmate caught on quickly to Daniel's hatred. At night, the man would start barking, loud, deep growls that echoed through the cell block. He pinned up posters of therapy dogs on the wall. One morning, Daniel woke up to find a squeaky toy in his bed. And the guards, they did nothing. They just chuckled and moved on. Justice sometimes howls softly but bites deep. Thanks for watching.